It's 8:30. I'll call the meeting of the Commissioners for July 5th to order. And the first item on the agenda would be public input. Yes, Mr. Babson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, over the past couple of weeks, I've been asked by several people about the report that cost the taxpayers $18,000 or thereabouts.
Right.
The feeling is because it's taxpayers' money, it ought to be made public. The consensus of the people that have talked with me is that if Robin Reed's charges are not sustainable, then Commissioner Kenny is owed a big apology, and that if it appears that Commissioner Kenny was wrong, that as voters and taxpayers they ought to know that, and that the public elected officials, such as three of us, aren't held to the same standard as the general public. We're held to a higher standard, and that this report ought to be made public.
I agree.
I hope you do so.
I agree with you too, but our attorney has advised us not to release that report. I think, and I will check with her once again, but I think the case is that should a lawsuit come down as a result of it, that would be part of it. And to release that now, whether she's guilty or not guilty, would not be proper.
Well,
I understand fully what you're saying.
Frankly, I don't understand it. There's only two scenarios: either Robin Reed is wrong, or Commissioner Kenny's wrong. And if it's Commissioner Kenny, she's held to a different standard. If Robin Reed is wrong, then that ought to be made public also. And I don't understand how it can be liable to anybody if there's just the two of them involved.
I have to agree with you. I believe that it's my understanding that there is no lawsuit that's going to be precipitated by this, and I would feel comfortable in releasing whatever happened.
Let me do this. Let me check with the attorney once more,
Would you please?
And if we can, we'll release it next week.
I mean, it's difficult for people to understand with Primex. In those suits, they although we paid for their insurance, they paid the litigants, so that they probably had the right to say,
yeah,
you can't disclose the information. But this is taxpayers' money, and it was done by the commissioners, and we ought to know what's in that report.
I think what could be released, in my opinion, would be the summary, because several people were interviewed and several people have not signed off saying that they would be willing to release what their testimony was. So that's a legal situation there. But in the summary, I don't believe any names were mentioned. So I will check with the attorney again.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Yes.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Approximately 3 weeks ago, I had some questions in regards to the IT contract.
Right.
Do we have any of the answers to that?
The request that you had was given to Mr. Rich, and I have not seen the answers yet, but we will be getting answers for you.
Because some of those questions were very, very important as far as protecting from third party and people's privacy.
Okay.
So I would hope that that would be addressed immediately.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Damon, I have just another question. I understand that you had a car show. Previously, the money raised from that car show went to the Residents' Benefit Fund. Furthermore, I do believe in the budget that line was cut for the Residents' Benefit Fund, and it went to the Friends of the Nursing Home. Now, whose decision was that to take the money from the benefit fund, from the car show, and give it to the Friends of the Nursing Home?
It was not ours.
Do we know why that was done?
We will ask the director of the nursing home if she knows.
because I was a little concerned about that, because I know that the Residents Benefit Fund was cut in the budget cycle this year, and I was thinking any money raised should have gone back to that.
Benefits fund was cut in the budget?
Well, I understand that's what they did to trim the budget a little bit over there. That's what I was led to be. True.
I don't think that's in the budget. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, if someone could
they
check
call
on-
it the benefits fund. This is new for me, I guess.
Yeah,
This is
Residents
for the
Benefit Fund.
employees or for the residents?
It's for the residents.
For the residents.
What then would be the difference between the Residents Benefit Fund and Friends of Mountain View? Because Friends of Mountain View is for the residents.
They're two different things, Commissioner Solomon. The Residents Benefit Fund and the Friends of the Nursing Home.
How do you see them as different? I just need an explanation, because perhaps they are, but I just don't see the difference.
Well, unless they got rid of the Residents Benefit Fund and just put all the money that had been raised for that specific thing before the Friends of the Nursing Home
Right.
came into play. There has always been, having worked at the county farm back in the 70s, there was always a Residents Benefit Fund to
But-
put parties on for the elderly that we are
Okay.
caring for.
I got you.
Now comes the Friends of the Nursing Home, so they diverted the money from the car show to that other fund, which is a separate fund. I don't know if the Friends of the Nursing Home did the Mardi Gras party or Super Bowl party for the residents. I do believe the staff chipped in for that. They're two different funds. Why was
Yeah,
the money
yeah.
diverted from one to the other?
I don't believe the
simply?
benefits fund for the residents are in the budget. I think that's a separate item. Not in the budget. That's strictly friends of the residents. Okay? We'll check on it. But
Thank you.
I don't think that's in the budget. But if they cut it or if they changed it around, I'm not knowledgeable about it. Okay? Damon?
Leaving aside the aggrieved employee's name and their information, it seems perfectly reasonable that you could say either that Commissioner Kenny was found to have not been at fault and is cleared, or Commissioner Kenny is under some kind of sanction, or Commissioner Kenny was at fault but there's nothing we can do about it. It seems like leaving the employee that's officially unnamed aside, just say what was done to Asha. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yep.
Because
Go ahead.
the
Go and finish.
commissioner's reputation is not protected by the right to know law. So if you just talk about what happened to Asha, that would clear a lot of things up.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Babson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've been on the delegation for 14 years, and I never remember a resident benefit fund.
No, I don't think it's one in there. It's a separate item that is accountable. There's also, I believe, an employees fund too, that also is accountable. Whether they have a bake sale or they participate, I think there's a dress down day. When they have a dress down day, they give $1 or something, and that goes into the employees fund on a dress down day, if they decide to dress down.
I can't remember, but perhaps the mix-up might be in the recreation department.
Well, that's where it would be if it was any.
If that was cut, that may have been where it was, but there's certainly been, I don't recall any benefit fund.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Brown?
As far as these grievances are concerned, as long as it goes both ways, especially where the latest grievant has requested her grievance to be made public.
Yeah.
So as long as it goes both ways.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, what you're hearing about, we want to get out Commissioner Kenny's grievance because it cost the taxpayers $18,000. Well, there's at least one new grievance, and it's not against Commissioner Kenny.
Yeah.
So, and this grievant has requested that her grievance be held in public.
Yeah.
So if we're going to release one grievance, then we need to release all the grievances.
Okay. The one you're talking about, that hasn't been finalized yet, the investigation?
But the grievance has requested it be held in public.
Right. I understand that, yep. And anybody else? Yes, Ed?
I would like to officially welcome Wolfboro Community Television to the GovernmentOversite.com network.
Oh, good.
Good.
Thank you.
So now, how many communities in Carroll County does your filming represent?
Well, you have the internet, which goes around the world. You have North Conway, Wolfboro, Brookfield, Wakefield.
And North Conway has several towns that, within it.
Correct.
Is Madison or Moultonboro covered by any chance?
Madison is.
Madison's part of that network?
Yeah.
It is. How about Moultonboro?
I'm not sure.
No.
Not sure, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Babson.
May I ask Ed a question concerning this?
No.
Excuse me?
May I ask Ed a question concerning
Yeah, go
the
ahead.
subject? What do you have to do to get a town like Ossipee to put this on their town?
All I would need to do is contact the Cable Advisory Committee or the Cable Administrator
At
whatever town it is, and then I can work with them and set up a contract and start offering them the discs.
Would that be you?
I guess
Can I
I would.
answer him?
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as I know, you can put up a link, and as far as I know, people in Ossipee that do have computers can get on the Government Oversight website, and I know they do, because
Oh,
I get
computer,
calls.
yes,
that
how
call
about
me.
on the, I'm talking about the television, he's talking
They
about
would have-
television.
GovernmentOversite.com.
We have-
Sorry.
What television are you talking about?
Yeah,
Time
you don't
Warner
have
in
it.
Ossipee.
Do you have a public access?
You don't
station?
have it.
Public
A
access
lot of
station.
people don't have Time Warner.
Well,
Go ahead.
how about contacting, it must be two, it must be
This is really
Fairpoint
something
and,
that should be Ossipee.
and Time
doing.
Warner, how
Yeah,
about
yeah.
contacting them both and see if they put it on?
May I say something? I think this is something that you should be taking up in the Ossipee
Fine,
town.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I asked.
Okay.
One last thing.
Yeah.
The goal is to have all the communities within Carroll County, cable and internet be connected. That's the
Okay.
goal. So there's
Okay.
3, and it's going to be, the
Yeah.
rest will be added on.
Anybody else got any public input? Yes,
It was
Mr.
good to
Rose.
see that the backup was repaired or corrected for the nursing home. However, it's disappointing that it took 3 weeks before it came to the commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
IT department should get on those things immediately.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else for public input? If not, then we'll move into our normal agenda. Asher Kenny called in about 5 minutes before I came up and said she would not be here today. So with that said, we will not have any minutes to approve today. So we'll move on with the agenda. Any reports that anybody wants to give?
No, I went to a meeting that didn't get held, but other than that, no.
Okay. I will report that, and we can ask questions of Sandi, but we did receive $631,580 through ProShare, which we haven't in the past ever budgeted for, because that's coming from the state, and we don't know whether we're going to get anything at all. We have in the past received something around $300,000. This time it's $631,580, and that goes to the Mountain View Nursing Home, and that's called ProShare. And if we need to have a definition of it, it's a complicated formula. We can ask Sandi if she can give us some answers as to what it stands for. But it's a good sizable chunk of money. Other counties, I've got other counties here. The total was $23,230,000. $768. So all the other counties had received some also. The lowest one was Comeau County, West Stewartstown. They received $423,000. The highest one was Merrimack County. They received $2,004,639,000. So that said, Will. By the way, the commissioners agreed that we are not accepting any emails over our personal computer. The email for the commissioners is posted downstairs. It's commissioners@carrollcountynh.net. So anything that comes to the county as far as business goes to our office downstairs. If it's timely, it's a timely event or a question or whatever, they will get in touch with us by phone.
Repeat that address, please, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioners, spelled out, at carrollcountynh.net. Okay.
Is that on the website?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning. It's been a little while since I've been here, so I got a few things to tell you about.
Okay.
This morning, the guys are down picking blueberries.
Yep.
I'm not sure what we're going to get out of there, but they went down yesterday and checked it out and started picking this morning, so we'll see what we get out of that. Looks pretty good, promising season, I hope.
It's an early crop.
Yes.
Normally they don't come in till the end of July, but I'm picking also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like we start trickling into it, and then all of a sudden it hits full force.
Weather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you go on, just a question, because this question came to me at a party I was at yesterday. Do the prisoners do any picking as well?
Picking? Yes.
Good.
Yep.
They do most of it.
They do most of it.
I'm glad, because that's what I said.
Yeah. The staff members pick alongside and supervise them, but the inmates do most of the picking.
Excellent.
How many do you have out, by the way?
I think we've been around 5, maybe 6.
Yeah.
It's been hit or miss. We had a few days where we were lower, a few days where the jail was able to help us out and get a couple extra when we were haying.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like a few more, but I don't think their numbers are real high over there. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So doing that today, we got the bagging system for the new lawnmower that we budgeted for.
Mm-hmm.
Has worked out good, very good. It's slowing down the person mowing, but it's saved a lot of time as far as the course of the day goes, picking those up. And it's also been nice. We're actually getting a lot of clippings off the property,
Mm-hmm.
and I've started a nice compost pile that we're turning once or twice a week out there, that will go back onto the garden next year. So that's nice, and I think it makes the lawns look nicer too when he goes through with that. And if we get a day or so behind on mowing, it's not as big of a deal because it all gets sucked up anyways.
Right.
So it's been working out good. The dirt work on the pole barn is pretty much done. I'm hoping to start digging the holes for the sonotubes and getting the concrete in the next few weeks. That's something we're doing around haying. Haying obviously is top priority right now, and keeping the lawns up. So it's something we're trying to work on at the same time. We've done about just shy of 3,000 bales, I would say, so far. I'm hoping as soon as I leave here, I'm going to be on the tractor probably till quite late this evening. We got a good stretch of weather coming up, so I'm going to lay some hay down, and hopefully we can get quite a bit more in the barn.
Has any hay got wet?
No, I had a little bit of mulch hay, but it was a field that was going to be mulch anyway, so that's why I cut it. It got a little wet, and we dried it out and baled it for mulch. We've had some of our regular mulch customers, we ran out of mulch hay last year, and so a lot of them have been wanting some mulch hay, so took some of the fields that are less productive, have a lot more weeds and such in them that we normally put into mulch, and that just happened. I think it was that Monday night we got a quick shower down here. We dried it all out Tuesday and put it away.
Good.
But all the good hay so far, knock on wood, we haven't ruined any good hay, so that's hoping that stays the trend. The garden's coming along. We've had some issues with it this year. When we went to plant originally, the soil was very wet down there. I think I probably should have held off and not planned it as soon, gave it a little time to dry out, but I was trying to get a jump on it and get the seeds in, and I think some of them got planted a little too deep, and then some just was so wet they rotted out down there. We had to reseed on a few things, but everything else, it's coming along now. The replantings and everything seem to be doing pretty good. Just want to remind everybody about Farm Day, July 28th. It's the last Saturday of the month. The Cooperative Extension is going to be putting out different press releases in the next few weeks. You probably see them in the different newspapers.
They have been doing that already.
Okay, yeah.
Because I write a column and I get the press releases, so I know that they're coming in.
Good. Good. I'm going to put out the signs probably at the beginning next week. We got a lot of signs to put out here and there. Waiting for some of the traffic to go down with the holiday, so I'll probably do those first part of next week to get some more signs out. We planted a food bank garden, is what I was calling it. Last year, where we had the pigs, was worked up a nice area, and actually from some of the rotten pumpkins and stuff that we had put in there last year, we had a bunch of stuff come up volunteer. So we got a bunch of pumpkins and tomatoes that just came up on their own out there, and they're producing very nicely. So we had some leftover seed of beans, peas, cucumbers, summer squash, zucchini. We put a little broccoli out there yesterday, and we have all that going in there. And the plan is that it's just a small area, but everything that comes out of there, I'm going to try to rotate going through some of the different local food banks to give that stuff to. It's not a lot compared to what some people are able to do, but I figured every little bit helps.
Yep.
And the last thing I didn't get a chance to put on your guys' list, but we did up the CCR reports, the consumer confidence reports that go out yearly for the water department.
Yep.
So those went out. They had to go out by July 1st. We got them out the week before that. So those all went out, and everything should be good with that, I hope.
Okay.
That's all I had to basically report.
Regarding the Farm Day, I talked with Kathy Sherman. They're having an open house that same day.
Yeah.
So I don't know if their train or anything will be down here.
Yeah, I don't think we were able to get that this year.
Yeah.
Either.
It's the same day.
Yeah, someone, I think Wendy or somebody else already checked on it, and that's what they said.
Okay. Everything else looks good, though, as far as vendors and...
I think the vendors are, it's slowly coming in with vendors. She's, we got another meeting next week, I think. She's hammered down the events and the different educational classes for the most part.
Yeah.
We're going to have a gentleman, I forget his name, it slips my mind now, but he owned a big commercial blueberries and turkey farm down south, retired. Nice gentleman, came out, checked out our operation. I told him what we do and whatnot, and so he's going to give a talk about the blueberries. I believe you're doing the bees. We got someone coming for the chickens. I'm going to do a swine talk. We've got some forestry things going on, possibly a raised bed garden class going on. So there's going to be quite a bit. Good. Hopefully we're going to have some logging demonstration as far as falling a tree, and then I think they're going to get the horse hooked up and drag it out with the horse to show that example, and some different things like that. So it should be pretty interesting, I think.
Good. Good.
So we're going to have the New Hampshire dairy promotion wagon is going to be here. Okay. So they're going to be doing the ice cream and things like that too.
Oh, good.
So
good.
Is the Blue Loon coming?
I'm not sure.
Check on that.
Okay. To drop people off, you talking?
Well,
or
and also just to be there to explain what they do.
Okay.
And how they can be helpful.
You check with the Sheriff's Department again regarding their trailer. They were there last year. I thought that was a good addition. I think it's good to have cooperation from the Sheriff's Department and
I checked with
show what they have to offer.
They had the officer out on the horse last year.
Yeah.
Contacted her, and unfortunately she's going to be out of town that weekend this year, so she's not able to do it. But I didn't ask about the trailer, so I'll definitely ask.
Yeah. Okay. You have any questions?
No.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you.
Jason? Good morning.
Reporting population is 46 in-house, 1 weekender, 9 transfers, 2 on electronic monitoring, 6 on pretrial release, total population of 64. Took in 21 inmates last week, 8 were repeaters and 31 were released. The repeater charges, 1 came in for issuing bad checks, booked 2 times this year. 1 for simple assault, domestic violence, booked 5 times in 14 years. 1 for 3 electronic bench warrants, booked 2 times in 1 year. 1 for violation of protective order and simple assault, booked 2 times in 2 years. 1 for simple assault and protective custody, booked 5 times in 12 years. 1 for protective custody, booked 5 times in 10 years. 1 for protective custody, booked 2 times in 8 years. And 1 for protective custody, booked 4 times in 1 year.
Okay. Have you, you got a meeting with the subcommittee, right?
Scheduled next Monday, yes, sir.
Okay. And the items on the agenda then would be
Talked about the
the
phone,
fencing,
and the car.
Okay. Okay. You have any questions from Jason? Inmates are able to go out in their exercise yard now?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay. If you don't have anything further. I'll talk with you later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Murray.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the original. That's a copy for yourself.
Okay.
What I have for you this morning is elevator maintenance contract for the Mountain View community. Mountain View community has 3 elevators, each requiring quarterly maintenance and annual state inspections. These are due the first of next month. The elevator controls in these elevators are proprietary, require specialized equipment. They were installed by Otis Elevator. The first year of service was paid for in the installation contract. They've been here a few times for various adjustments and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
They've been very good. I've been pleased with their service. But due process, I've got other prices for the elevator contract, maintenance contract. The price that I got from Otis Elevator was $465 a month. Yeah, it seems steep, but they have more expensive ones. This is not their bottom end contract. This is not their top end. This is the middle of the road, which includes basically just lubrication and adjustments. If any parts ever need to be replaced, then we have to pay for those parts additionally, which I think is fair enough. It's a fair gamble, if you want to call it that. Their higher maintenance contract includes parts, but it's much more expensive.
With a brand new elevator.
I'm thinking that it's safer to go with the
Okay.
maintenance and the lubrication and adjustment contract.
Do they come once a month?
No. They come quarterly, and once we do sign a contract, they actually may come more frequently.
Wait a minute. You said the Otis Elevator, they don't come monthly. Huh.
They charge monthly, but they don't come monthly.
And it's a 2-year contract.
Right, they break it out.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a 2-year contract. I contacted the company that maintains the elevator here, Stanley Elevator,
Yeah.
and I contacted Pine State Elevator, which is out of Portland, Maine. Otis Elevator, I actually thought that they would be the higher priced. I was totally wrong. They were actually the lowest price.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted a 5-year contract. I negotiated a 2-year contract. And they were the lowest price of the other two. Stanley Elevator was $525 a month, and Pine State Elevator was $498.95 a month.
I think when it services here, you said was Stanley?
The one that services this elevator in this building is Stanley.
I think we pay $50 a month.
They came, I invited all